Welcome to the Fulbright-Hays Doctoral Dissertation Research Abroad Technical Assistance Webinar. Today, this is Dr. Pamela Jefferson-Namer. I'm the Senior Program Officer for the DDRA program. But today, I'm going to have our assistant, Natalie Guarino, is going to go through the slides today and talk to you about the DDRA program. The session will take about 45 minutes to an hour, and we will plan for an online chat coming soon. Check the website for further updates on the day and the time. So I'm going to turn it over to Natalie. Natalie?
So our objective for today's session is an overview of DDRA programs, description of the pre-award process, description of the application review process, application tips, and then a Q&A session, which will be on the website. So a little history about the Fulbright program and IFLE. The Fulbright-Hays Act of 1961 is officially known as the Mutual Educational and Cultural Exchange Act of 1961. It was marshaled by United States Senator J. William Fulbright and enacted by the 87th United States Congress on September 21, 1961, the same month as the Foreign Assistance Act of 1961 and Peace Corps Act of 1961 were enacted. The international education programs were originally created under the National Defense Education Act and then incorporated into the Higher Education Act, thus expanding the programs beyond the training of specialists and emphasizing the importance of international studies as a matter of general educational importance. Section 102 of the Mutual Education and Cultural Exchange Act, or Fulbright-Hays, created an overseas component to the otherwise domestically based international education programs under Title VI. To date, we have had over 5,600 fellows funded with Fulbright-Hays DDRA. To help accomplish this objective, the Doctoral Dissertation Research Abroad program provides opportunities for scholars to conduct research overseas for 6 to 12 months in the field of modern foreign languages and area studies. Final approval of award recommendations are given by the Fulbright-Hays Foreign Scholarship Board. Some notable DDRA fellows include Dr. Leela Haza of 2008, Executive Director for Lions, Guardians, and CNN Hero. Dr. Jason Hickel, University of London, Royal Society of Arts. Dr. April Strickland, 2008 fellow, anthropologist of Oprah's Belief Series. Ludwig Admek, 1964 DDRA fellow, University of Arizona Professor Emeritus, currently publishing books on Islam, also started the Middle East Studies Department. Richard Bolliott, 1964 Professor Emeritus, UN Speaker on International Issues. Victor Pineda, 2008 fellow, Disability Rights Activist. And Dr. Jim Miller, Fulbright Executive and Director, Morocco. So a little bit about the DDRA Fellowship. The Fulbright-Hays Doctoral Dissertation Research Abroad Fellowship Program is designed to contribute to the development and improvement of the study of modern foreign languages and area studies in the United States by providing opportunities for scholars to conduct research abroad. Institutions of higher education are eligible applicants. U.S. citizens or nationals/permanent residents who is a graduate student in good standing at a U.S. institution of higher education are eligible for fellowships. The institutional project period is 18 months, and the research period is a minimum of 6 months to maximum of 12 months. For the purpose of this program, Area Studies is defined as an interdisciplinary program of comprehensive study of the aspects of a society or societies, including the study of their geography, history, culture, economy, politics, education, international relations, and language. Since Area Studies is broadly defined, we have had students in many different disciplines apply every year. DDRA is an annual competition as an institutional grant that awards fellowships to research scholars. The institution is awarded a grant for 18 months from October 1st of one year to March 31st of the 18 months later. A scholar must travel for a minimum of 6 months and for a maximum of 12 consecutive months. This program is intended to provide assistance to students who are well on their way to becoming the next batch of area specialists. This program is not for someone who wants a new experience and has never been in the field. IIE, funded by the State Department, has programs that are more appropriate for new scholars. Applications must be submitted electronically via the U.S. Department of Education's G5 e-application system. The 2020 competition priorities, there are a few new ones. There's an absolute priority given to applications that meet this priority. The priority is a research project that focuses on one or more of the following geographic areas: Africa, East Asia, Southeast Asia, and the Pacific Islands, South Asia, the Near East, Central and Eastern Europe and Eurasia, and the Western Hemisphere, excluding the United States and its territories. There are also 2 competitive preference priorities given. The first is a focus on less commonly taught languages, a research project that focuses on any modern foreign language except French, German, or Spanish. The second competitive preference priority is a thematic focus on academic fields, a research project conducted in the fields of science, technology, engineering, mathematics, computer science, education, comparative or international, international development, political science, public health, or economics. The 2020 funds and awards. There are $4 million in estimated available funds. The estimated range of awards is $15,000 to $60,000. The estimated average size of awards is $36,000, 363, and the estimated number of awards are 110. As a note, the Department of Education is not bound by any estimates. Eligibility for grant funding. Only institutions of higher education are eligible to submit an application. Each institutional applicant must appoint a DDRA project director who assumes the responsibility to register as a project director for his or her university in the G5 e-application system, advise and guide individual student applications, submit the entire application to the U.S. Department of Education, administer the grant and disperse funds if awarded the grant, and to serve as a point of contact for all of that institution's fellows, regardless of research topic or discipline. Project directors and students, please register in the G5 system as an institution at least 1 week before the closing date. We need to have on record that you are in the system in case something happens to your application. Eligibility for DDRA fellowships. A student is eligible to receive a DDRA fellowship if the student is a citizen or national of the United States or is a permanent resident of the United States, is a graduate student in good standing at an eligible institution of higher education, and when the fellowship period begins, is admitted to candidacy in a doctoral degree program in modern foreign languages and area studies at that institution, plans a teaching career in the United States upon graduation, or plans to apply language skills in world areas of vital to U.S. national security and knowledge of these countries in the fields of government, international development, and various professions, and possesses adequate skills in the foreign languages necessary to carry out the dissertation research project. Please note that although the DDRA program funds student research, the legal applicant is an institution of higher education, and if a grant is awarded, the institution is the legal grantee. Graduate students and doctoral programs in the fields of foreign languages and area studies must apply through the U.S. institutions in which they are enrolled. DDRA and FUSP IIE. As stated in the Fulbright Foreign Scholarship Board Policy 426.1, concurrent grants, no applicant may receive concurrently a grant from the Fulbright U.S. Student Program and a grant from the Doctoral Dissertation Research Abroad Program. We have a policy on accepting FUSP IIE awards and DDRA awards. You can apply to both DDRA and IIE Fulbright grants simultaneously. However, you cannot accept both awards at the same time. If you are selected for IIE and you attend orientation or accept any funds from IIE Fulbright, you are deemed ineligible for DDRA. If you have received funds from IIE, then you have, in essence, accepted their award over DDRA, and thus you are ineligible for DDRA. You cannot repay one program to take advantage of the other. There is no provision to repay a federal agency. Once we have our slate of awards, we will verify with IIE who has applied and accepted an award and will withdraw you from DDRA. The Project Director Review of Applications. The Project Director must review the student's application transmittal in G5, including the Fulbright-Hays DDRA application form, the curriculum vitae, project description and application narrative, application bibliography, 1 foreign language reference form, 3 graduate student reference forms, transcripts, letters of affiliation and host country supporting materials, and institutional review board narrative. The applicant roles and responsibilities. For the institution must attend the DDRA Technical Assistance webinar. Appointed project director must register in G5, make fellowship application materials available to students, accept and screen applications in accordance with its own technical and academic criteria, include student applications with institutional application, and administer the grant and disbursing funds. For fellows must contact project director for institutional information, register in G5, initiate emails to solicit references, submit complete application in G5, submit institutional review board narrative to project director for upload into G5, and follow up with the project director. For referees should receive reference forms from fellow, complete and submit reference forms, and send project director copy of reference and form. Please remind your referee to not use international characters or non-English characters. The G5 application system. All applications are submitted through the ED-G5 e-application system. There are 7 required documents that the student must submit into G5. The DDRA application form is an electronic form in G5. The remaining documents must be uploaded as saved PDFs. The PDFs must be unlocked or unprotected in order for G5 to accept the submission. The CV should include the applicant's language status, native speaker, heritage language learner, non-native speaker, or non-heritage speaker. The project description and application narrative and bibliography must comply with the guidelines included in the application package. Applications that exceed page limits and do not comply with the guidelines will be rejected. There is no appeal for this requirement. Reference forms must be submitted by the referee noted by the applicant. Please instruct the referee to not use special such non-English characters in any form or document. For example, the %sign, the £sign, backslash, etc. Transcripts may be unofficial, so they will need to be opened by the student and uploaded to complete the application. Graduate transcripts are required. Undergraduate transcripts are recommended as they can demonstrate the applicant's language and area studies academic training. Please remove PII from transcripts, including birth date, address, social security number. Letters of affiliation and other host countries supporting materials may be included in the application. These are not required documents but can also demonstrate the applicant's experience and training in the proposed research language and area of study. IRB narrative is required if the proposed research involves human subjects. The applicant must provide a narrative to the project director to include on the ED Supplemental Information Form SF-424. More about the G5E application system. Fellows must select no to the question, Are you registering as a Fellowship Fulbright-Hays Doctoral Dissertation or Faculty Abroad Director? Fellows, please instruct the referee to print and send a copy of the reference letter and form to the project director. DDRA reference forms. Fellowship applicants need to at least save a draft of the DDRA form with their name, institution, country of research, and language. After that, their reference forms will appear. Project directors must register as applicant and not project director in their G5 profile. Project director officially submits IHE and all eligible individual student applications, reference forms, IRB narratives, and other required forms using G5. Make sure all applicants and referees hit submit to complete the application submission. Eligibility screening. The U.S. Ed screens all applications for technical eligibility in accordance with the evaluation criteria published in the Notice Inviting Applications and the program-specific regulations of 34 CFR Part 662. Any U.S. institution of higher education is eligible to participate in the DDRA competition. The IHE is a legal applicant, and if a grant is awarded, is the legal grantee. The IHE must identify a project director who will actually submit the application, including those of individual students, to the Department of Education. This individual is usually a representative from the Office of the Dean of Graduate Studies or Student Affairs. Students are not able to apply for this funding independently. It is necessary for the student and the institution to coordinate activities, and both the student and the institution must complete their portions of the application. Students are not eligible to receive other federal research grants such as IIE, Boren, IREX, Japan Foundation, in the same fiscal year they receive DDRA fellowship. Students who default on federal student loans are not eligible to apply. Students who receive support for more than 6 months are not eligible to reapply. Financial provisions. Dependents do not include common law spouses or domestic partnerships. DDRA funds may include expenses such as health and accident insurance for the student fellow, books, technology directly related to proposed research, travel within host countries, affiliation fees, and dependents, including married spouse and unmarried children under the age of 21. Some restrictions. A spouse is a legally married couple, gay or straight, legally recognized by a state. Children must have a birth certificate. Grant funds do not cover dependents' allowances for fiancés. You must have a marriage certificate by the time of application to be eligible for a dependent allowance. Continued financial provisions. Please review the list. If these are included in the fellow's budget, they will be eliminated. Any payment to someone other than the fellow or dependent is not allowed. No monetary gifts, no transcriptionists, no research assistants, meals on DDRA grants. No conference costs, hotels, per diem are allowable. Dependents must accompany the fellow the entire research period, but the fellow is not eligible for dependents allowance. No first-class travel or travel costs for dependents. Passport or visa costs are not allowed. Any costs associated with obtaining a visa. If you have to travel to another country to obtain a visa, these are pre-award costs and are not covered by the DDRA grant funds. DDRA will not pay for the cost of cars, mopeds, scooters, or long-term car rentals. No equipment that lasts beyond the life of the grant, such as cars, research equipment, or computers. Internet access is a part of the maintenance allowance and not included in project allowance. Academic technical review. Applications are sectioned into world areas. Peer reviewers are comprised of area and foreign language specialists with experience in advising PhD candidates. A maximum of 4 peer reviewers meet via phone conference to discuss their independent scores and the quality proposed project and qualification of applicants' areas. The program officer compiles each independent score to determine a total score for the applicant. Total scores, from highest score to lowest score, are used to develop the rankings of all applicants, regardless of world area. The peer reviewer process can take up to 2 weeks. Technical review. The quality proposed project constitutes a maximum of 60 points. The hypothesis statement and research questions constitutes 15 points. Theoretical issues, originality, and literature, 10 points. Preliminary research, 10 points. Justification for overseas research, 10 points. Dissemination plan, 5. Guidance and supervision from advisor/committee, 10 points. Qualifications of applicants have a maximum of 40 points, including applicants' academic record for 10 points, applicants' academic strength and area studies for 10 points, applicants' language proficiency, 15 points, and applicants' ability to conduct research overseas, for a total score of up to 100 points. The quality proposed project. Here is what reviewers will expect. Hypothesis statement and research questions. The proposal is well organized and excellently conceived, and the research questions are clear. The justification of research methods is strong. Theoretical issues, originality, and literature. Applicant demonstrates knowledge of the relevant literature in the field. The applicant has analyzed and articulated the potential impact of their research. The applicant demonstrates originality of the project. Preliminary research. The applicant has indicated they have completed substantial preliminary research and demonstrates a clear plan for how they will conduct the research. Justification for overseas research. Applicant provides clear justification conducting the research overseas, and the applicant demonstrates appropriate connections in the host country. Dissemination plan. The applicant has a clear plan for sharing preliminary and final findings of his or her research with stakeholders, academic community, etc. Guidance and supervision from advisor/committee. The applicant has indicated a clear plan for how the advisor and committee will guide them. Technical review for qualifications of applicants for a maximum of 40 points. Applicant's academic record. Is there evidence of a strong academic record, strong GPA? Is a fellow or recipient of previous fellowships and publications? Applicant's academic strength in area studies. Does the applicant's academic record demonstrate a strength in area studies? Applicant's language proficiency. Does the applicant's language evaluation reflect an extremely high level of competency? Applicant's ability to conduct research overseas. Does the applicant demonstrate they have the ability to perform this research as proposed? Technical review. There are absolute and competitive priorities to give applicants a maximum of 5 points. The absolute priority means that all applications must address this priority. The 7 geographic regions and topic has to focus on these world areas. There are also 2 competitive priorities. The first competitive priority is a research project that focuses on any modern foreign language other than French, Spanish, and German. English is not an eligible language. Any antiquated languages such as Latin, Sanskrit are no longer modern languages are not eligible for points. There is a second competitive preference priority, which is a research project conducted in the field of science, technology, engineering, mathematics, computer science, education, international development, political science, public health, or economics. Let's look at some tips to help you in the application process. Writing your proposal. Things to do. Address all selection criteria in the order listed in the application packet. Provide a detailed research plan. Include sufficient details about your research goals. Prep your references and give them lots of time to write you a glowing recommendation. Avoid grammatical errors or specific professional jargon and acronyms. Use persuasive descriptions of your research. Be clear and concise. Remember that your entire application counts, not just your project narrative. When writing your proposal, things not to do. Do not wing it. Be clear in what you propose to do. Do not wait until the deadline to contact people from whom you will need letters of support. Do not guess at the formatting requirements and length restrictions. Do not write or send in your proposal at the last minute. Do not propose doing research in a country in which you will need to speak another language and have no evidence of having learned that language. If reapplying, do not ignore suggestions that reviewers made. When submitting your application, register early. If you are applying as a fellow but your institution does not have a project director, please work with your sponsored program office or graduate studies office to get someone assigned to submit the application on your behalf. I cannot emphasize enough to remove all PIIs from your documents, such as transcripts. Do not wait until the last minute to submit. The G5 system will shut down applications at 4:30 p.m. Washington, D.C. time. No exceptions. I would target 3 days before the due date to submit applications to avoid any issues. Submitting from an international location may not be possible. If at all possible, try to upload documents from a U.S. server. We cannot intervene if you cannot upload documents from an international server, as G5 is a U.S. government platform and may not allow access from foreign servers. For questions, comments, and concerns. Important information. For DDRA program-related questions, email ddra@ed.gov. For G5 technical assistance, call 1-888-336-8930. The application deadline is February 18, 2020 at 4:30 p.m. Washington, D.C. time. There's an online training module at www.g5.gov. We will host an online chat if you have follow-up questions. Check the website for the date and time. Thank you for listening.